Thanks, Nick, and good morning, everybody. I notice we're running about 4 minutes behind schedule. I'll do my best to get us back on schedule. So Kin, located in Laverton, Leonora area in Western Australia. As you can see by that slide there, we're right smack in the middle of the recent consolidation with Genesis has done. And so there's about 10 million tonnes worth of processing facility in that area, in amongst the three plants. That will not be full for forever. So eventually there's going to be room in that mill. If somebody makes a better discovery than what they're already mining, then that can go to those mills as well. Okay, very quickly, usual slide. Interesting to see how our share price has doubled, but at the moment, with our share price doubling like that, we're still valued at a negative EV per resource ounce. We've still got 900,000 ounces of gold in the ground. We've got a market capitalisation higher than what the value of the gold raw day market cap is. So I think that slide's, with the Genesis price doing really well at the moment, that's probably a bit out of date. I think we're probably closer to $90 million in cash and liquids at the moment. Why invest in Kin? I've been doing this for a while now, and everyone comes to me and says, why should I invest in Kin? Why should I invest in your company? I turned that question around a few times and said, what are you looking at to invest in? Why are you investing? What are you looking at? And overall, over the years, it's come down to three key points, which is basically the people, the price, and the platform, right? Or the project, sorry, the projects. So you've got to trust the people you're looking at. Have they had track success? Are they good at what they do? Do you trust them? The platform, have they got money? Do they need money? Are they going to become raised all the time? And the projects, are the projects any good? So the three things that you need to invest in, need to make yourself comfortable with when you want to invest in a company. And I'm going to step through each of these and show you why I think that Kin is a good investment. I think everybody presenting here has a great investment opportunity. I don't put all your money into one. Have a look at all of them. Have a balanced portfolio. Better than mine, probably. So I mentioned the people. So this is the board and COSEC and exploration manager. We talk probably 2 to 3 times a week. So it's a very close board. We've all had success in what we do, and we've been together now for about a year in this company. Many of us worked in other areas before together. So we've got a mining engineer by background, myself, Hans Jorg-Plagmar, representative of a major shareholder, good in finance background, Joe Graziano. Joe's been there for quite a while, from the time of the Kin. Nick, an engineer and business development, and COSEC with Steve and Leah. Leah's here today, by the way, dying to talk to you. I'm not going to be very technical in my talk. I'm a mining engineer, or used to be, but Leah is exploration manager. She'll be more than happy to walk you through it down the back there. So we're looking at a 4-pronged strategy for Kin. As I said, we came across the money. We worked hard to get it, by the way. We came across the money, put it in the bank. So now what are we going to do with it? Base metals exploration. So and I'll get a bit more detail on this later on. So we've made a discovery for base metals. So a VMS-style deposit. They are typically quite hard to find. You can find the location, but to actually find the economic part of it, you need to spend time and money. We have both of those now. So enhanced gold exploration resource growth for the Mertondale. So I'll get a bit more detail on this later on, but Mertondale is actually located directly between Genesis's hub and what we recently sold them in Cardinia, so the Bruno Lewis Kite deposits. So Genesis will be mining 5 kilometres north and 10 kilometres south of that Mertondale deposit. The Mertondale deposit, by the way, is actually a slightly higher resource grade than what we sold to Genesis. Obviously, when you've got money in the bank, you become a lot of friends. I've got a drawer full of steak knives from the offers I've been given. So a lot of M&A potential in the area. So a lot of small guys that don't have the potential or don't have the money. Unfortunately, the junior mining industry, in particular gold, has really struggled to finance. A lot of them are good operations, good projects, but it's really hard to get money. We've got the money now, so we can act as like a bit of an investment house for them. So if we find a good project, we think we can add value to it, then we'll look at the mergers and acquisitions. We'll also look outside of the Leonora area for a good project. With the money at hand, it should be easy, but there's a lot to look at. So with the base metals discovery, with the VMS, which really the hole went in over a year ago, was the original hole that went into there. And it wasn't not a lot of attention was paid to it. We were looking for gold. We weren't necessarily looking for base metals. In August of last year, we had a bit of a change. The MD, prior to myself, Andrew Monkton, did a fantastic job on bringing all this together. And he decided to move on to bigger and better things. Well, he thought they were bigger and better. But the Talisman, which he's running at the moment, is doing very well. We went back and looked at this hole and discovered it had some base metals in it. So we need to revisit what we were doing as kin. So we took a step backwards. I stood into the chair as executive chair, and we started to relook at what we're doing. We had time, and we were in the process of actually starting to do that deal with Genesis at that stage. So we knew the money was coming in. I'm going to move on. So the actual discovery, Albus. So Albus discovery. Just out of interest's sake, I'm not sure how many people are Harry Potter fans here, but you'll notice that the base metal discoveries are all named after characters in Harry Potter. And we are actually looking at a name change for the company at the moment as well. So Kin's got a bit of a reputation from a long way back. We're trying to change that. We're going to change the name. Some smart person suggested Hogwarts, but I don't think that's really appropriate for a mining company. So perhaps Patronus, you might see that coming up in the next few months. So the diamond drilling today. So we just completed 5 holes, 3 of them into the Albus horizon and 2 deep ones for gold. The gold, I think we get on to gold later on. The gold diamond holes were 200 metres below surface. So it's deep, it's considerably deeper than what we've been looking at previously. And those assays are due back fairly soon. So the original hole, which is there in the white box there, is quite a significant and economic grades. Well, we don't have the widths yet, the grades are there. The 3 holes we've done since then, right, one of them intercepted a fault, which looks like it's offset. The other 2 have intercepted significant base metal mineralisation. Note they're not economic as yet, but we've proved the theory that this area is rich and ready for a VMS discovery. Interesting enough, also on that hole, one of the latest holes that's shown there, we actually had gold discoveries on the way down as well. So we can follow that discovery with that about 200 metres below surface. We can follow that up. So that's a new target for gold. Just recap again. So I'm not going to reiterate lots of money. It's quite rare to be a small exploration company with so much money in the bank. It's the first time I've done an annual audit where I don't have a going concern by the auditors. It's nice. So the 932,000 ounces that we retain, Cardinia East and Mertondale, the VMS discovery, and potential for higher grade gold at depth. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this one because we're going to be focusing now on the Mertondale deposit. As I mentioned previously, Mertondale sits between Hub and Bruno Lewis. So Mertondale is actually on the Department of Defence land, which we have now cleared for access, and the mining proposals are in place. A lot of people asked, why did you sell Bruno Lewis, Kite and Rayside, and why didn't you sell the other stuff? Bruno Lewis and Kite, we had finished all the work that we were planning on doing there. It was drilled out, the mining proposals were in, everything, access was done. We weren't going to spend any more money on that. We thought we'd put as much into it as we could. Genesis realised that, and they realised that it's much easier to take that deposit and put it straight into production. So there's very little work they're going to do there. I think they're going to do some grade control drilling, and they get straight into production. Mertondale, we didn't actually offer them Mertondale, because Mertondale, we think we haven't finished adding value to that deposit yet. So Mertondale, as I said, it sits between the two, so it's logic. When they go to mine those deposits, either south or north of that, they're going to be in the area. So if we can prove that the Mertondale deposit is economic and is more economic than what they're currently mining, it's an obvious sale. So we know that Genesis are putting, they've got their 5-year plan out. It's a fantastic story. They're using some low-grade stockpiles in the early days at the Mount Morgan's mill. We think we might have a better prospect for them where they can make more money and we can make some money at the same time out of treating the Mertondale deposit while they're mining the Bruno Lewis and Kite. Interesting enough, Mertondale is actually a higher grade resource than the Bruno Lewis and Kite deposits. The East Cardinia deposit, again, we didn't actually offer that one up for sale. we'd discovered the base metal, or we think we've discovered a base metal deposit. We've discovered base metals for sure. Is it economic? We don't know, and we didn't want to sell that on. So we think there's a lot of value add in the base metals, and as well as the gold in the East Cardinia. So we selectively sold what we needed to sell and kept what we think we can add value to. Mertondale ready to go? I'm down to 4 minutes, and I'm going to try and make some time up. I think I've probably covered that. So we're going to be pretty aggressive on our exploration. Leah and the team are actually designing the drilling program at the moment. Hopefully we'll be drilling within the next month or so up there. Nancy's looking nervous. I think I've probably mentioned all that stuff there. And again, we've been through most of this. So the upside discovery for Cardinia. And really a summary. So we need to grow a quality team. We're still growing our quality team. We're looking for a CEO at the moment. So I'm temporarily sitting as executive chair, and we're looking for a CEO to run the company. We're fairly well down the process of that, and hopefully the next presentation you'll have someone much more attractive and better speaking than I am. So the base metals are very exciting. So the base metals discovery, if it comes to fruition, and it might take us 12 months. It might take us 1 drill hole. It might take us 100 drill holes, but we know we're confident it's there. Obviously the gold, the 900,000 ounces of gold we've got in place at the moment, we want to value add to that and make sure it's a proposition for somebody else. Highly unlikely that we're going to build a mill. With all the milling capacity that's already there, the large companies, we can see ourselves a bit of a feeder to those. Having said that, if we make a massive discovery and you end up with a 1 million ounce reserve and nobody's coming after you, you're obviously going to build a mill yourself. You have to monetise it. 3 hard things that you've got to find it to start with, you've got to define it, and the hardest thing to do in this industry is to actually monetise it. Right, so there's a lot of junior explorers out there, there's a lot of people who find stuff, a lot of people who define it. Very few actually go into production. So the hardest thing is to monetise it. Production's only one way of monetising it. Mergers and acquisitions, you can monetise it for shareholders, but you're not monetising the deposit. So we are actually focused on how we can, if we pick up any mergers and acquisitions, the first question we ask ourselves is, how can we monetise that? How can we increase value for our shareholders, or how do we get it out of the ground and turn it into money? The district evaluation, so as I mentioned before, the mergers and acquisitions, consolidation, both large and small. So we'll look at dozens of projects. I'll probably get 2 or 3 phone calls a day at the moment. As I mentioned, the industry is really crying out for a bit of money. So if you've got a good project, any of my fellow presenters out there, you've got a good project, you want some money, come and talk to Leah. And I think that's a bit. I've managed to do it. 2 minutes to spare. Thanks, Nick.